Welcome, everyone. I am National Master Jesse Cohen, and this is Quick Bites of Chess with Summit School of Chess. Just wanted to show you today's game. We had Mr. Beast versus Moist Critical, otherwise known as Jimmy and Rafay. And it was a really, really awesome game, and I just want to jump right into it. So let's just get started. For those who don't know, by the way, PogChamps is basically this combination where it's a collaboration between Chess.com and the biggest streamers and some awesome celebrities around, and kind of having these top coaches team up with these top streamers and celebrities and train them and then have them compete for a bunch of money. And it's brought a lot of good attention to chess, and I hope it continues. And who knows, maybe I'll get to be on it someday. I wouldn't hold my breath, but, it'd be sweet. Anyway, let's jump in. So D4, good move by Mr. Beast. F5. Now, I don't know who's coaching Moist Critical, but it is very gutsy to play the Dutch defense. Any defense that involves moving the F pawn right away and opening up those diagonals to the king, super risky. E3, a little bit passive, blocking in the bishop, but it does open up this bishop. Maybe he's going for a stonewall type of defense or a Kali. Knight f6 to the best square. Knight c3. Not the best move, but not a terrible move either. Typically, I would play c4 and get those two pawns side by side and then play knight c3, but it does bring out the knight to its best square. g6 looks like black is getting ready to fianchetto that bishop. Knight f3, this looks good. Bishop g7 looks good. Knight g5. Now, this is a bit ambitious on Mr. Beast's part. Putting that knight forward and trying to be aggressive around this king. I do like the aggression. However, remember, typically we're not supposed to move the same piece twice. And my only concern is that this knight really doesn't make any specific threats on black. We're not really threatening to take the pawn because, black will just take back. And black could just attack us and drive us away if they want to. And we really don't have a good response other than to pretty much go back where we came from, or maybe try that move, I guess. Oops, whoop, whoop, whoop. Too far. Instead, black decides to castle kingside here. Bishop c4 check. I like it. Developing with check. Pawn to e6 blocking it. Pawn h4. Now, actually, I like this move too. With the fianchettoed structure, Mr. Beast playing for h5. Let's just say black plays some move and we can get an h5. And let's say that black even takes here and we even sack our rook. This could actually be really appealing with checkmating ideas coming on h7. It's not for certain because of h6, but still a very interesting variation and one that I'd be interested to see what would happen here. Instead, let's see here. Black strikes in the middle with pawn to d5, attacking the bishop. Mr. Beast saves it, of course. Knight to c6, solid move. Pawn to h5. Knight takes h5. Bishop takes h5. Queen takes g5. Not sure if you saw it, but when this knight moved, it opened up that pathway for the queen. e4. Now this is just super awesome. I highly doubt that Mr. Beast was able, to calculate all the complexities that would arise from this move, but this actually is quite a complicated move with a lot of pitfalls. And so the main reason is, look at this. We're not ignoring the fact that this bishop is in trouble, nor are we saying, hey, let's just kill our own pawn. But you have to really pay attention to those long-range pieces. And Moist Critical sees this, plays queen takes g2, and it seems like white's in huge, huge trouble right here because the rook is threatened, this bishop is still threatened, this is threatened, this is threatened, everything is not okay. But bishop f3 is the perfect move. And massive kudos to Mr. Beast for seeing this move. This move is perfect. It saves the bishop, guarded by the queen, attacking the queen, X-ray defending the rook, and if you really take a close look here, this queen has nowhere to go. She is completely trapped. And so Moist does the best thing you can do when you are trapped. When you know you're going to lose some points, you might as well desperado. Get as much for it as you can. Queen takes rook seems crazy, but if you're going to lose the queen, might as well get a rook. Mr. Beast takes back and now takes. And now, funny enough, black is only down 1 point in this position. Only one. White has sacrificed quite a bit, and we're going to need to play active, okay? Bishop e3, developing nicely. Rook to d8, activating and hitting that pawn a third time, also pinning it to white's queen. I really like the way black's playing here. Queen to d2, pawn to e5. In this position, I probably would either play bishop takes or knight takes d4 right away, setting up traps for white. Let's say white were to castle queenside now. Knight to b3 check would end up winning back that queen pretty fast. After pawn takes knight, rook takes back. And now it's suddenly black who's up a point. Instead, e5 is played, but that allows what I think Mr. B should have done, which is d5. Completely ignoring that, letting the pawn block in its own bishop. And this isn't really a threat, but now this pawn is much easier to guard. And after knight to d4, castles queenside, I think this is going to be an interesting game. Instead, we play bishop h6. Mr. Beast decides to just turn his attention directly to an attack around black's king. Bishop takes bishop, queen takes back, pawn takes pawn, knight b5. Saving the knight from this pawn, being aggressive, hitting here. Everything is going great right now. I know technically that the material is even, and black has this gigantic center. It's really hard to say who's better here. I still prefer white, mostly because of the activity of this king, or sorry, the activity of the queen and how close she is to the black king. Rook d7 saves the pawn, castles queenside. I love this move. Knight to b4 strikes the pawn on a2. King b1 saves it. Pawn d3. Pawn f3. Oh no. That is the baddie. We have played a lot of good solid chess right now. We've been playing a lot of good solid chess right now. Like, seriously, I don't know, like, kudos to both, to the coaches of Moist and to Mr. Beast. Well done. But here, it's just a lack of consistency. The knight and the pawn are threatening on c2. The biggest threat right now is pawn takes pawn check, which will fork the king and the rook and allow this incoming rook takes. It's just devastating. All we have to do to solve this is just play pawn takes pawn. Just take care of it. It's done for. Knight takes back, and we're totally fine here. Maybe now f3. And there's no problems. Unfortunately, pawn takes pawn check. And there's only 2 moves, and it doesn't even matter. There's king a1 and king c1. Mr. Beast tries king c1, but both pawn takes rook becomes queen, and even rook takes down here are both checkmate. So I think that means that Mr. Beast has been eliminated. I don't know if he'll ever get a chance to watch this, but dude, seriously, good job. And, really, I mean, I would be really fascinated to know, did you actually see the bishop trapping the queen before it took on g2? Like back here, did you really see that when this queen took here, that this would trap her? I don't. If anyone knows Mr. Beast by chance and can get the word out, I'd love to hear his answer on this, because it's like the trapping of the queen was very impressive, and for the most part, his play was very good, as was Black's. I mean, this was a hard tactic to see, and then again, just at the end, and that's why I tell you, you want to get better at chess, you want to do it the fastest way. There is no faster way to get better at chess than solving lots of chess puzzles, and the best place to solve chess puzzles is, other than chess.com, which I highly recommend, the manual of chess combinations. It doesn't get any better than that, okay? So, hope you enjoyed this. I can't wait for some more PogChamps action, and yeah, have yourselves an amazing weekend, and I'll see you soon. This is National Master Jesse Cohen, Summit School of Chess. Catch you later. Bye!